We're in a very fluid situation in certain countries in the Arab Spring. What is your biggest concern right now?
I am very optimistic that things will go forward and this revolution will proceed, and this is a irreversible process. But I'm deeply concerned about black hands can intervene in the situation and might bring some setbacks. And I'm precisely talking about regional international dimensions who have no interest for these revolutions to prevail.
You're a very strong believer that we cannot see what's going on in the Arab Spring through Western eyes.
Absolutely not.
Can you expound on that just slightly?
I mean, very unfortunately, Western governments, US, Europe, supported all the way long these rotten dictatorships in the region before the revolution. And they knew how much these dictatorships were rotten, bad, corrupt, and how much they were anti-democracy, how much they suppressed, oppressed democratic forces in that part of the world, and they did nothing. They have serious interest with these regimes, and till the last day, in Tunisia, in Egypt, they were in support of these regimes. Accordingly, we feel, the West have something to blame about what had happened before these revolutions, but out of the blue, and suddenly, we find, the West became like the spokesperson on behalf of the revolution. That's not wise, and that's strange, in any way.
One of the questions is, what should the international community's response be? And your suggestion is that leave us alone.
Leave us alone, or be in support of rule of law, democracy, and the human rights. Don't act according to double standards policy as it used to be. Be true believers in democracy that people can deliver it at that part of the world.
There's a lot of discomfort among certain quarters about majority rule by Islamists in certain parliaments.
Yeah.
Should we be uncomfortable about that? And do you see this as being the dominant force over the next 20 years?
I do believe Islamist political Islam will be the dominant force for the coming 20 years in the region. But I do mean with that the real, genuine political Islam who was part of the political movement against all these rotten regimes. We have diverse of political parties, some of them Islamists, some of them secular, some Marxist, some leftist, some national, some pan-Arab. Islam is part of that component, and they worked hard, they worked eloquently, they paid, and they paid heavily over the last tens of years, to come to this. And I think they made it, obviously, in Tunisia, in Egypt, in Libya, and in Morocco as well. So we shouldn't, be looking in negative way, to this experience. We have to give these political parties that chance, the opportunity to be involved in the political process for the revolution, and hopefully, they make it. Of course, on the ground, other political powers will be like watchdog, trying, to fix any wrongdoings, happen in this regard. But nobody has the right to make in advance judgment about this movement as far they are genuinely committed to internationally recognized standards and committed to democracy and rule of law.
As you're well aware, political and post-conflict transitions are often accompanied by economic transitions. To what extent is this the case in the Arab Spring, in your opinion? And what are the legal system and rule of law implications?
I have been to Libya in last November to visit among delegation, and we stayed there for 8 days. Libya produces every day 3 million barrels of oil, and Libya daily income 160 millions. I was totally shocked, appalled to see Tripoli, less developed than Gaza, was subjugated to siege. I just cannot understand how corrupt these people are, how undeveloped Libya is. You are talking about population of 6 million people only, and they are such underdeveloped, and they are, such unemployed high percent.
A few moments ago, you were talking about in the West, just help us respect the rule of law. That's one of the greatest contributions that you can make and not have a double standard. Each country, perhaps, is different. But in general, what do you think are the most important legal reforms that have to be done for a successful transition to democracy in the region?
The guarantor for democracy and human rights, strong, viable, independent judiciary. And I think that's one of the top items of the agenda of the revolution for the foreseeable future. It is the guarantor for democracy and human rights.
And finally, some people are asking, where are all the young Arab leaders? Young Arab leaders who could galvanize the populace to overcome divisions, be they religious divisions or tribal divisions or whatever.
Revolution is not one-time stroke. It's not one-time event. It's a process. We managed to topple these rotten dictatorships, and we have to process with democracy. We are newcomers to that. We have very hard and bad heritage. The revolution was made by these young. It's not virtual revolution. Those young who made it, young boys and girls, the youth movement, they are the ones who were in the street and they were able to make it. We are very proud of their commitment, their contribution, the level of blood and soil. They offered, to make this happening. And I think the creme de la creme of their contribution yet to come. And I'm definite the contribution of youth at the foreseeable future, it will be major guarantee to make this revolution processing in the right direction.
Raji, thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure and honor, sir.